What comes in a box, yet people don't care about, and that you and most other Flesh and Blood players would enjoy to have? All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna do the whole Flesh and Pod joke, but we're on number 2. We're on a streak. We got 2 going. This is episode
right.
2. Yeah, episode 2. Congrats. Yeah, that's a real milestone right there. Let me tell you. For me, that's saying something. But we're back with the esteemed Alex once again, and thank you for blessing me with your time here. I have
thanks.
I have lots of fun stuff to discuss, and I think that you'll get a kick out of my topic. That being said, in case you don't know, I am Jacob with Geeks First, and yeah, we're just going to have a grand old time today discussing something that I believe is very near and dear to Alex, and that I want to showcase for all of the quote naysayers out there that things can be done, and we will be doing it live, even though you'll be watching this recorded. That this is a solid. Oh yeah, see, he's getting all excited
man.
here.
I gotta straighten my back a little bit. Get ready in the seat.
All right, so I have a riddle for you, Alex.
Okay.
What comes in a box, yet people don't care about, and that you and most other Flesh and Blood players would enjoy to have?
Comes in a box. People don't care about it. Is it a
there's an asterisk?
deck?
There's an asterisk on that care about piece, right? Because one man's trash, another man's treasure, so to speak, right?
Right. Is it a starter deck of sorts?
This could be considered a starter deck or a starter way to get into the game if you talk to the right people.
Okay. All right.
So let's go to. I'm gonna go to my overhead. I'm gonna give myself a little. Oh, that's the wrong overhead. Let's go to that one. Nope. I need to flip these. Hold on. Oh, see, look live. This is like so fun. Boop boop.
The too many buttons dilemma.
Okay. So we're gonna leverage this to begin with. All right, we're gonna zero this bad boy out. All right. What do you think I need to scale for?
Ooh. Are you? I mean, you'd obviously be weighing something. Are you weighing packs? You weighing boxes? What could you possibly be weighing?
Oh, buddy.
Oh my God, the bulk. Gosh.
This is a single USPS large flat rate box, and if I can get it to stand there for just a second, it's 25 pounds of cards. Just
oh my God.
So what our challenge today? Our challenge today is to build a deck with bulk.
Oh, easy. Dude, I've been doing this for
to prove
months.
to people it can be done. I haven't pre-filtered this. This literally came to me. This is one of the mini boxes I have laying around, and I was like, this is an exciting thing to showcase and talk through at the same time. And my understanding would be talk through stuff like Clash and Commoner and how some of these cards may be leveraged and useful in those. And that's where you being, I'll refer to the expert in that area, because I dabble in those Commoner and Clash, but I don't think I have the breadth and depth that you or like Dice Commando has as far as the understanding of kind of the pseudo metas and things like that. And that's kind of what I'd like to showcase today. So
okay, all right. Well, I'm down for that. I feel like I quite literally probably could pull up 17 lists that I'm sure are going to be available inside those inside that bulk box. I guess depending on what's inside.
Yeah. So it's 25. This one's 25 pounds, and I did cover up my addresses so I don't have the SWAT team called on me, because
that's good,
exciting. But this is how the stuff
it's beautiful.
looks. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Oh man,
let's go.
Already look like we're seeing some Aria stuff, so that's good.
Yeah, and obviously I do want to point out the most intriguing thing about getting bulk boxes right is there will be casualties. Like that is the one thing people seem to neglect to know is like, yeah, that's not bad, but like I have a little box of shame behind me that I like to keep, and let's just refer to it as, you can already tell, these have been beautifully loved cards. Like, and sometimes they're like really good stuff, or things you actually want to have, and you're like, wow, that's sad, but either way, it's still in my beautifully loved box of.
If you can flatten it and it's legible, it's play worthy, and that's what it's all about. So
did a Dynasty card come out of this box already? Holy moly!
It
So
sure
I guess
did.
there's multiple
Or it
types.
could be a Mistveil card.
Well, yeah. So they especially. So that's a fun piece, right? Is as time has progressed, these are almost like little time capsules now because they're before certain sets. Oh, look, I found a foil. Look at that.
Let's go.
Oh,
You can take out all those. That's the best part is looking through and finding all the goodies. All those foils.
Oh yeah.
Primo.
And these are the unlimited ones. There's an Inspire. Although if we find a ball lightning, we gotta rip it in half because it's banned or whatever. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, all day. Rip it in half. Even though, God, I would love to play that card. I think I still want to try testing it out and have somebody come up against me in Common or Clash and be like, why was this banned? And then realize real quickly why it was.
Let's see here. Is this all? Oh, there you go. That's beautiful.
Oh, God, I love Heaven's Claw. The Heaven's Claw rainbow foil just does something.
Artwork
so pretty.
is always a beauty when you start looking at some of the bulk,
Invigorate in rainbow foil. If you ever find a Invigorate in rainbow foil, it's so pretty. It's one of the things.
Hat.
Nice, dude. A Ragamuffins?
I actually seen that.
The best part is looking through this whole thing and trying to find sink belows.
Oh yeah, or Fate for Scenes,
or Fates.
Hey, look, there's a Briar. Now, is this how do you know if it's not the errated one? Because I think there's an errata version. Oh yeah.
Well, I would imagine they're all. If it's unlimited, it's probably errated because it is going to be like First Ed that came into the problem and then they came out with unlimited later.
It's funny that this is in here. Well, I guess not. It's on a token, but I wanted to show something crazy. So this is kind of an intriguing thing. So when the Frost, because I've been building my sets. That's one of the things I've been working on. When I was starting to look through tokens, I was like, man, something seems weird about the Frostbites. They're not the same. Well, when I started looking, I noticed that like from Uprising and Everfest, they changed the border of the side, and it's like this one's a gray, like an equipment style, and then these are like the blue, similar to I guess this would be from Tales of Aria, and this one's from Uprising. So it's kind of it's intriguing to me that they've done that. I guess I'll add this to my stack of just Frostbites because I was starting to look at especially when you get into like the theoretical full set collecting. There's different tokens in the set. So like in WTR, there's a myriad of tokens that I guess I can actually show you because I just got done doing this madness behind me here. Most people don't even recognize that there are this many tokens, but it's unbelievably silly. So this is my almost complete master set of Unlimited. I know there's been a lot of people talking about their whole I
was just about to bring that up when you bought the second I saw this first page, I'm like, is this going to be it's time to not be quiet about Flesh and Blood video? Because
this basically may also be the it's time to not be quiet about Flesh and Blood, but this is my version of that. And as an example here's the Rhinar that's the regular, but then this is that cold foil or the token you would get when you did the Farewell to Welcome to Wraith event. So inside of this binder, everything in here is going to be a single copy of Unlimited that's non-foil and foil. As we go through, there's all these, and then the legendaries I have somewhere else, like some of them are graded. Also, occasionally you'll find like this is the misprint Bravo, the one that's drunk Bravo, as somebody says.
What a solid pull there, though. I think that goes for a bit on the misprint market.
Oh yeah, and like I paid $5 for this card, so like I always like leaving the price tags on some of these, and then you'll notice like this I'm missing. So I have this one as the regular, but I don't have the rainbow foil. So that's an example of some of the cards that as I kind of sort through some of these things, I noticed, hey, which ones I need, and I'm sure somebody's going to yell at me like, "You're going to bend the card." It's like, well, I'm careful. I'm not going to,
It's unlimited. You're fine. It's not like it's not like you're putting a non-foil like Majestic that's super hard to pull in there or something.
Crazy Brew, that was my fun. Like, and then the foil E-Strike I think was actually probably one of the more exotic cards in this set.
Yep.
But where's my tokens? I'm getting to it. Sorry, I'm distracting myself. There's my baubles. Got a lot of baubles. Here we go. This is starting with the Quickens. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variations of Quicken just in WTR.
That's wild. I mean, well, because is it just like the double-sided versions of them, or?
Yeah, so like this one is the Quicken with Seismic. This is the Quicken with Dawnblade. This is the Quicken with Kadachi. This is the Quicken with Romping. This is the Quicken with Anthos. And some of these come from WTR, not Alpha, but the first print run, which is the WTR from Belgium, which I don't know. Do you know about that? The differences?
The difference between from Belgium?
I can literally show you because I actually have them sitting right here.
Oh man.
I was just making sure I didn't open the wrong packs when we were going to open a pack later. So these are, and you can kind of see the color difference. These are the different variations. So this is Reinar and Reinar, but this one is the Belgium, and this one is the Japanese. And on the back, you can clearly see the coloring difference in the two.
I mean, even the barcodes are different.
Yep, and this one says Made in Japan, and the Belgium one's underneath like that. So these you can pull Drone of Brutalities from. They have certain tokens you can technically, depending on when they're at, get the Drunk Bravos.
I do know about that. I do know the Drone of Brutality was only first print run of Unlimited, and then they stopped. Right.
So these are all from a Belgium box that I only opened half of, and I realized it was a Belgian box, and I stopped because they're not making it anymore. So this is for later in life when I have an in-person thing that we want to draft and we want to have a chance at a Drone of Brutality. We're gonna chuck these bad boys in there.
There you go.
That's kind of why I started doing that, as I was keeping some stock in the back for 5 year, 10 year, that kind of stuff.
And I want to open up WTR. I've only opened up one box of WTR Unlimited, and I want to open up like 2 cases of it. It's just so cool.
Well, next time I can get with you. I got a box or 2 laying around that we can throw at you. That'll be
sick.
That'll be fun. I really do want to draft a lot of that. And one of the other things I think it would be kind of fun, not to distract too much from the building the deck thing, but building a cube would be interesting. And being able to do, I think it's called the cube-a-majigs or thingamajigs, where you can do the pack order, but then find a way to randomize that enough to where you have these amount of commons with X amount of class, and then these amount of rares, and then kind of build from there. So
I like the idea of cubes. I've never personally done one, but I love the idea behind them. I know people are looking to do like wizard cubes with their with the new wizards that are coming out, and people are just like hyped to do specific cubes with classes the more we get. So I think it's great. Again, it's just more awesome ways to play Flesh and Blood at a very budget level. So
this is the remainder of I think I stopped at 26. I couldn't find more than 26 variations of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that they did that, though. They made them several different backings, so that way you always had a good chance of getting the tokens you needed. It is the first set after all, so
yeah, I would assume a lot of people would want to open it. So
right.
This is also really fun when you have a big bulk of people in here. Oh, see, now we got upside down cards. So what are these? That's more Tales of Aria. I can already tell this is probably Tales of Aria. There's your Rosetta. More.
It looked like that whole first section was pretty much mostly Tails.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's good. It's too bad it's banned in Commoner.
Too bad it's banned in Commoner. Oh, yeah, crack baubles, baby.
There you go.
Get some baubles. I think I'm over a couple thousand baubles at this point that I've accumulated.
So many baubles.
I'm working to try and further my position in baubles.
So what it's going to be you and Joey Baubles at the top for amount of baubles collected.
I every so often just get bored and go to a TCG player and be like, okay, how many get for $10? Like, I just put a bunch in the cart. And I've had these orders. Yeah, there was one time that on TCG player the most sold card was it was like a token from, I think it was actually from Tales of Aria. And I think it was just somebody proving a point that you could technically manipulate the way the market data shows on there. And I was like, screw it. Well, I really want the card, so let's try if I can do it with a bauble. And I wasn't actually able to push it to the top, which I thought was kind of crazy to me. I wasn't able to actually get it in the very, very tip top.
You have to do a lot. I mean, you have to get a lot of it. Oh, Outsiders. There we go.
This is Outsiders.
That's nice.
So that's a different, back to Tails. And this is kind of why I haven't been opening a boatload of boxes, is I still have all these to kind of go through.
No, I'm telling you, like, that's the thing. I ended up just getting a bunch of bulk for my LGS for Part the Misfail, and I don't know what it is. I have like a disease of I get bulk and I immediately want to organize it, get it all set up, because like if I don't do it now, I won't do it later. And looking through it, sometimes there was a time where somebody gave me their box of bulk for heavy hitters because they were just like, whatever, I don't need this, and they were only looking for certain cards. They gave me the bulk, and I went home. I went to go sort it, and there were like 3 M's in there that they just didn't. They considered bulk, and I was like, oh, I just get these now. It's I don't know. It's the best. Like
That's
it's the best.
that is partially how sometimes it just works out. I mean, you know, sometimes people are so focused on certain things they forget. You know,
Yep.
this is all outsiders.
So did it say what sets came in this box, or
it's literally it could be everything. I could randomly run into you know, cards from every walk of every set.
are you able to say where you bought it from?
There are definitely a lot of for sale posts for bulk on the groups, so you just pay attention to who it is, and if it's in the Flesh and Blood groups, sometimes there's, you know, people saying I have X amount of this, and you know I'm willing to sell it at this price, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, that sounds like maybe a good deal. Like back in the day, I missed out on a big old lot of Crucible of the War Unlimited, and I kind of still to this day regret not getting it because, for all intents and purposes, you know, I think Crew Unlimited doesn't have as big of a print run as, I mean, we know the print run, but like compared to other stuff, those cards seemingly, even at the common and rare ratios, you know, I can't say, hey, I have 1,000 of this card or 100 of this card, because it just doesn't, you know, doesn't go around. There you go, feisty locals.
Yeah, I think it's in a pretty good spot. Crew. I mean, it's unlimited was not printed as much as like WTR or Arcane Rising was, I believe, and so it is still significantly low from their first ed and from their unlimited, which is great. But that's like, you look at Everfest first ed, there may have been a lot of them, but it's the only amount that exists. I think, like, if you combine the numbers, I think Crew is the least printed right now.
They shredded Everfest Unlimited. So.
Yep, and they shredded Everfest Unlimited. So there's not going to be any Everfest Unlimited. I think what did James say? There were like 20 boxes total that they just kept at the office.
I was going to say, I really was hoping I would have magically been able to find an Everfest Unlimited box, because that's just such an interesting collector item. Like, when you think of the collectability of, no matter what you pull, from a common to a rare, there's probably not even a full play set or not even a full collector set of the whole set. So here's some Uprising cards that just randomly are in the middle of something. So there's some Draconic options if you need to. Not that that's much of...
Trying to think. If we've got Outsiders and Tails so far, we're looking Ranger
seems...
Ranger's always a good choice. I think I'm just trying to think, are we... I guess the first thing that I always like to ask myself if I'm going to be building a deck from bulk is, what format are we building it for? Are we going to do it with Commoner, or are we going to do it with Clash? Obviously, you have enough cards to do for many formats, but we can do it for Commoner or for Clash.
So walk me through why somebody would pick Commoner over Clash as an example. Obviously, there's, let's call it, you know, play choices through each, but, you know, just kind of coming in and looking at random, what drives somebody to maybe pick one over the other? If you
I guess if there was any reason, I mean, outside of probably specifically just trying to figure out like how to play the game at a base level, both formats do very well in teaching you how to play the game and what the heroes do and how you can utilize their cards to the best of their abilities. The only difference is that one of them can be put on gem and played at an LGS, and the other cannot. Although, while I must say, some people do run Clash formats at their LGS. I'm not sure how they do it, but they do it, and that's really awesome. But it is not Clash is not an official format. So while you are able to have more of a card pool with rares and commons, if you have an LGS near you, HP 1, let's go. Oh, we're good. We're in the clear. There's going to be sync belows in there. I'm calling it right now. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason, is like if your LGS near you would be doing commoner events because it's an official Flesh and Blood format, that's probably the reason why I would be choosing that over Clash. But if I'm just playing with a bunch of friends and I'm looking to just build decks that make people happy to play these heroes, then I think that Clash is probably your better choice there.
Razor Reflex. Copper.
HP1's great. I don't know why everybody hates on white labels. It's great. Yeah, Red Pummel, let's go. Let's go, Red Pummel.
There's some null rune.
Yeah, any null rune you can get out of that thing, super good. Did they reprint Fate in?
Yes. Oh,
They
there's
did.
Sigil of
Sigil?
Souls. There's
Beautiful.
your reds. There's a blue fate for
There's-
scene for those who want it.
I don't know if blue's willing to keep, but it's there.
It's not bad. It could be worse.
I guess if you're playing Mystic Heroes, maybe.
There's
I'd be
a
curious
Dorinthia.
to see.
There's a
I'd
red
be curious
smash.
to see if there's Mistveil stuff in that box.
Oh, hey, there's a fate for scene. There you go.
Nice. There we go. That's what we're
No
talking
sync
about.
at the moment. What is this stack? This is
Well, now I have to
Scar
look.
for Scar. That's Uprising. 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 This is Uprising. There's a random Uprising. 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 Oh, look at that.
Woo! Wow! Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, if you don't look through your bulk, you end up finding treasure. Literally, I kid you not. If you know the person who you're buying bulk from, and that person's just like, yeah, they're an avid collector, or they are looking for specific cards in their bulk, it's probably going to be picked through. But you can tell real quick whether or not stuff's going to be picked through or not, and it's just another. What was this? Is probably like friggin' 5,000+ cards in that box. So,
Give or take, yeah, it's right around the 5. This is all Dynasty stuff. That must be because that was where that kind of was. It was hanging out in the same section of all this. So you got.
There you go. Got yourself an edict.
I don't know. So there's some dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
white-
please put dinosaurs in there.
White border fate for scene red is going for about $1.50. So
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
burn. That's a beautiful foil.
I love burn away. It sucks that card's like impossible to play. I feel so bad about it.
I'm not even. By the way, there's still literally an entire.
Oh, there's got to be so much.
This is all Dynasty again. Oh yeah, Mechanologist cards. So we got some support sets type stuff in here. There's Ranger. So definitely just in this box. See, there's what I'm talking about. You can kind of see if you really were getting nitpicky, this one's technically probably not good enough to even
Right.
let somebody play with.
At the end of the day, right? Like when you buy bulk from an individual, you should not be worried about condition of the card, because I think at that point, you're buying it in bulk. If you're looking for condition, you care about it. Care about it for the cards that cost $100+, because that's when you, or even $50+. Like care about it at that point. But if you're buying a whole bunch of bulk from somebody, and your Sigil of Solace red comes in with a little nick in the corner, there's nothing you can do about that. It's just the way it is. People just look to get rid of cards. But sometimes that's enough for you to get Sigil of Solace red. And a lot of people don't really care about the condition of the card when they're playing it. And most of the community for Flesh and Blood is players. So
Correct. I'm going to see if I can get a ballpark on this. Is Uprising. There's some more Dynasty cards.
a lot of it is like upside down and then right side up, which is just like upsetting in general. But
there's Findel. That's a foil. But a lot of this would take a while to obviously truly sort. I'm just trying to get an idea of what we have so you can maybe narrow down. We could build a Draconic. We could build Phi. We have enough stuff.
Phi is incredibly easy if you have rares and commons in Draconic Ninja. You can make a Phi deck easy peasy. So shoot, you could probably make an Icelander deck too if you end up having Everfest bulk in there. You can play Icelander.
Visit the Forge. Permafrost. There's a decent chunk of random foils in this.
A lot of foil. Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of foils in there too. That's really, really nice. Shoot, you could probably, if you really dig deep enough, you could probably build a deck and then find all the foils for it in that box and cheat them out.
A fun one. Poison the Tip. Prognosis. There's an assassin foil for all the assassin stands out there.
That's me. It's me. I'm an assassin stand.
So in the commoner format, is there really a yin yang kind of a scenario where you have one over the other? Hyperdriver Bomb.
That's nice.
My mech deck is happy now. But like in commoner in general, is there like a certain hero or two that are more ready to rock and roll? Maybe is the best way to word it.
As far as like a meta goes, I would say usually. If you end up having Ira's incredibly good in commoner. She's just so efficient with what she does. and she utilizes all ninja cards. So if you have a lot of ninja cards in like a WTR stack, and a crew stack, even some stuff from Everfest you can utilize too, it ends up turning into a pretty nice kind of deck style. But I love that Ice Bolt. It's not bad though. I think Ira's good, but honestly, if you're looking to just build a deck to kind of get an idea about the game, oh look at that! See, that's what I'm talking about.
It's a hero, right?
It's a hero. I don't even own that card. You just got it out of bulk.
Yes. Cha-ching. It's probably what, 50 cents?
Yeah, for something like that. You know what? Let me see. I'll go ahead and check.
I'm curious now because, like, you know, right when you're going ham.
It is 15 cents.
Heck yeah, it is truly a bulk, but it's a Majestic. It's probably one of the few Majestic bulks.
It is also the only place you can currently get, the adult hero of Arachne Huntsman. So if you are looking to play Arachne Huntsman, it's the only place you can get it, and it doesn't. You can get it in rainbow foil in the same thing. So if you end up getting it in rainbow foil, that'd be crazy. But even rainbow foil, it's only $2. So
there's a Dromai. There's the
Dromai is great in commoner, but she's definitely nowhere near as good as like a ninja. If I were to build anything out of Uprising bulk, I'd definitely be building Fi. I think Fi is by and large the easiest to learn. So
that's useful. So let's maybe start talking about building a Fi as I round this out, because that sounds like a solid place to start. So
yeah, absolutely.
Fi's a ninja. So obviously, if you omit the fact that we don't have probably some staple-ish type cards from, say, Welcome to Wraith, and is it okay? Do you say Wraith or Wrath? Which one do you say?
I say Wraith.
I find myself flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are several different depictions. It's always kind of been Wraith for me, but I'm however you want to say it is also totally fine, because that's just up to the individual. Tomato, you know what I mean? Let me see. I think I might have a pre-built Fi deck that I can have for commoner.
As I sloppily throw through all of these cards, I'm just like going as fast as I can.
The other thing is that building Fi is really easy, because most of them is just nice. Oh, dude, Monarch, that's gonna be great if you get like if you end up getting like a rainbow foil Aether Iron Weave. I think it's like $5 or something.
Say what?
Yeah, it's weird.
What? Wait, who would that? What class is that for? Aether Iron.
It's Runeblade.
Oh.
The Runeblade chess piece.
Probably because it just came back.
Well, no, it's been like that since like I opened Monarch, which was like 2 years ago. So it's
WTR.
Checked it. Let's go! Woo!
Found some WTR.
What the hell am I looking for here? Aether Iron.
There's just a little bit of smattering of everything in this now that it's on
I'm telling you.
The bottom rung. This is all. That's Arcane Rising. Look. I mean, there's not a lot of it, but look at that.
Well, if you have Arcane Rising, the next deck I suggest, Dash. Crazy good. Crazy good.
Ho, ho, ho.
Dash does nasty stuff.
Almost had this fall off the table.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm down to just that, and I realized my positioning of where I had it.
Shifting of the weight.
All the weight is now not off on the table, so oops. Yeah, here's some WTR. There's Entwined Lightning. Hamstring Shot from Arcane. So I'm sure if I were to dive really deep into this, I'm sure there's a couple of wizard cards.
Yeah.
For bolding bolt. Hey, there's a foil Arcane Rising card. That's kind of a interesting inclusion. WTR cards in here. This is just a stack of Wootiver. There's so you want Tide Flippers for Ninja, probably, maybe?
Yep. If you're gonna go into Ninja, Tide Flipper's good.
Trade Lava Burst. Sash.
Lava Burst is good. Sash is. Do I run? I run. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I'd probably end up. It's not going to be in your bulk, but for bulk, I would say Sash is a good call. So
Heatwave. I'm just, now that you said I'm going to look for that, I'm going to kind of pull out some of the more
that works.
draconic.
I think engulfing flame waves are rare. I think.
Trade-in, maybe. Lava Burst, Healing Bomb, Caloria, Mounting Anger. It's very red heavy, I think.
Brand with Cinder Claw is always super good. Like a staple in the deck right there.
Okay, there you go.
Look for that. I have like the entirety of Uprising memorized in the back of my head, so I apologize if I'm like,
Adult Fi.
That was back when they were making token adult heroes.
Heck yeah. So now we're back into, this is what,
More WTR.
Pack.
Beautiful.
Oh, bravo.
It looked like it was the Misfit for a second. I was like, oh,
dang it. Dang it. There's a
pummel. I was like, that'd have been so crazy.
There's a Pummel, Overpower, Driving Blade, Bidding, Dawn Blade.
We're not exactly going to need Sink Belows for Fi, but if you find them of snaps, you're going to need that for sure.
Nimblism, Gust Wave. There's a Open the Center, Quicken, Razor Reflex.
Sandsketch Plans. I'm telling you.
Random super rare.
Telling you. You're just going to... This is it. I got to ask, though. How much did you spend on this specific box of bulk?
Well, I don't know if I can give you the exact number on this one just because I buy so many of them that it's kind of a vary, but the average number is anywhere from probably the low end is about 40 plus shipping to the high end I've paid is about 60 or so, maybe 70 plus shipping. So this is like me buying a booster box.
So there you go. So you buy one booster box, you end up getting 5,000 cards as opposed to like, I don't know, what is it, that 16 cards a pack, 24 packs a box?
Well, if you start doing the math, have you actually, so if you take 5,000 and you divide that out by, because I did this once or twice, I'm trying to remember, I think it's the equivalent of 16 boxes goes in a UPS box, because it's give or take 5,000 cards divided by, I go 16 cards is the average, and then divide it by 24. So what's that?
That is math. Hold on one sec.
I would do it, but my hands are...
What was it again?
So you would take 5,000 and then you divide it by probably 16 cards is the average, and then 24 is a booster box. So what number is that?
So if we get
5,000 divided by 16 divided by
13 boxes.
Yeah, that's so probably about 10 to 15. Depends on how good somebody packs stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Scar for scar.
But even still, I mean, 13 boxes for $40 as opposed for 13 boxes with no obviously, like we're finding hits every now and again through here, but for the most part, it's gonna be cards that are not worth money. But even still, you know, you can do something with these. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Always at least one in the box.
Mm-hmm.
They just.
But that's the whole thing. You get bulk.
Even those. I mean, I'm not saying they're the perfectest, but they're, you know.
I'd play them. If you're playing a kitchen table, I'd play them. If you're playing an armory, I'd let you play them. As long as in the sleeve, it quite literally isn't just like it's super crazy.
Most of these are pretty useful. That's probably something.
I've built like a lot of. I've gone through a lot of bulk, and the amount of like cold foil commons I also find in bulk is so insane.
Cool. I've had that happen
a
couple of times.
Because people just like, they're like $2, and people are just like, oh, it's not worth me putting even on the listing, and so they don't do anything about it. There was a time we were at we were at Battle Hardened, I think, and in the Battle Hardened, we one of my buddies needed a common equipment piece, but he didn't. The only one that the vendor had there was a cold foil, and he just gave it to him. He wouldn't even. He was like, I'm not even worried about the price. Like, you can just have it, because it didn't really cost anything. But to people in Commoner and Clash, where those are the equipment pieces that you can use, it is super cool, and it's really, really easy way to bling out your deck without needing to spend a lot of money.
There's a couple I need to go track down, because there's a couple of pieces of artwork that I'm hedging my bets for a future set, so I won't name it at the moment because I want to buy a bunch of them because I don't think they're very expensive. But it has a specific piece of artwork that I think indicates a future class is where I'll go with that.
Well, now I have to look for it. I won't say it on here, but
I don't know. You might be. I don't know. There's definitely a commoner piece of equipment that I feel indicates a future class. Clash. Scar for Scar. Red Scar for Scars are nice. Draconic. I'm just like I said. Ooh, Foil Oasis Respite. This shit.
That's nice.
I'm just throwing shit at a wall here, by the way. So.
Well, if you want a general idea of a commoner deck, first.
Oh, there you go. Blaze Headlong.
Nice. That's good. Anything, obviously, the only rarity that can go inside the main deck for commoner is common cards. So if it's a rare, probably not going to be used.
So I can't pull my those are useless then. Oh, there's your Searing Emblade. I finally found
Flames are good. Those are also common. So pretty much anything that is draconic and a common is in a Fi deck for the most part. You got Blaze Headlongs, Flame Call Awakenings.
Stoke the Flames, maybe. So the dragons are out then. So I can't.
So yes, that's correct. So if you were going to build Dromai, you would be unable to use her dragons because her dragons are rare. But you can still use things like Rake the Embers, which is a common. So you have access to it, but it's just not as efficient. And because it isn't as efficient, most people don't end up trying to play it because it just doesn't end up working out good for them. So let me get my Fi Clash your commoner deck up again. Where the hell is it? I just found it. There it is. Yeah, Dust Runner Outlaw is a good common card. Bramlet Cinderclaw is good.
I got a whole stack here that all this is like out. So there's some Uprising in here, some more tails. I'm not gonna go through it. And I'll just see what we can build with what we got sitting here. So
yeah, just take a look at it. I mean, luckily it's all, it's all
so
pretty straightforward.
Hero's going to be probably that. You can use Heatwave, right? You want
Heatwave's good. Yep.
I'm just going to see what equipment we have just to kind of start with here.
You pulled out a Scabs or not Scabs. Sorry, Snapdragon Scalers. Snapdragon's really good.
All right, so let's see here. Depending on your type of build, so you got your hero, you got a weapon, so that sounds like a weapon you'd want to use. We got an arms, we got a legs, we got a chest, another arms. This is a different list, so these are the same. Don't need two. Would you run Tide Flippers over?
I would if you had a big box of bulk and had access to cards outside of Uprising and had access to a Snapdragon, I would play Snapdragon over Tide. Just because Tide Flippers is good for Arcane Barrier if you're going to go against a wizard, but it's not great for everything else. So,
good enough chest, you think?
Sash is great. Sash will do. If you end up getting something like a Blossom of Spring, normally you're not going to find that in bulk, but Sash does the job for sure. Or Vest of the First. That's another one.
What's the generic headpiece that would be, or the Draconic common headpiece?
If I were to play a generic headpiece for ninja, let's see.
Even if it's an Uprising, I'm sure I have something I can maybe find.
Well, Uprising, your only probable option is going to be Helios Miter, I believe, which is just like prevent damage.
Oh, the token one.
Yeah, not too bad. But if you end up coming across, I know you said you had a lot of Outsiders bulk over there.
There's plenty in this.
If you have Outsiders bulk, has a pretty decent headpiece in it. Let me get this.
There's a Beaten Tracker.
Oh, that's good.
Spellfray.
Spellfray would be okay if you had nothing else. You can use rare equipment. Rare equipment is allowed. But rare and common equipment. Your hero can only be rare, common, or token, and then your main deck has to only be commons. So that's how commoner works there. There is a card. Let's see. Probably not that. I guess you would probably end up playing. So it's one of two things. Either you can probably play in that WTR stack. You can get an Iron Rod helmet, or you can go ahead and get a
Mask of Many Faces.
Mask of Many Faces is okay. Again, it's mainly your headpiece options are pretty much just this is how you block, because you want to be able to at least block a little bit with your armor. The effect doesn't really matter because Mask of Shifting Perspectives is the other one that I'm thinking of, and it's good, but its attack reaction only cares about if you're playing daggers. So if you're going to be playing Kadachi Fi, that could very well be a thing that you can try and do, but in most cases, you're probably playing Emberblade just for the sheer damage. And at that point, any headpiece is good. In a perfect world, you'd want to play Mask of Three Tails, which is not bulk. It's from the Tolarian Community College Round the Table product. So
yeah,
you end up
probably
getting your
not
hands
going to
on
find
that.
that in bulk.
No, unless you do, because that'd be rad.
That would be. I'd have questions for who I got it from, though.
Exactly. Right at that point, you'd be like, wow, okay. It's probably red bittering thorns in there, too. You might as well throw those in. But those are great picks. Honestly, doesn't matter. I think you're good using as long as it has block value, you're probably in a good spot. So Mask of Many Phases, if that's the one you're choosing, also totally fine. You're not really going to use stability.
Some of the generics from...
Those aren't bad. I'm not sure that I personally would use them for the deck just because they don't present as much, I guess. With Fi, his whole strategy is that you just want to be able to say, I'm not going to block your attacks. I'm going to come in for like 12 or 13 damage. And just do that constantly over and over and over again until your opponent dies. And that's just it.
What about
Zephyr
options
Needle?
like Zephyrs?
Zephyr is okay. It's much better in Ira because in Ira you can give it +1, which means that if they block with a 3 block, it doesn't break. They have to block with a D react in order for it to break. And most people don't run as many D reacts, so it's easier to get that damage off. But if you attack with a Zephyr Needle and they block a 3, then it gets broken. And so at that point, you're better off. If you're going to run daggers, you're probably better off running Kadachi.
So no rares, right? So let's pull the rares I pulled out.
Yep,
Next.
no rares.
Rares, we're not going to run any of those. Bye-bye rares, bye-bye. Phoenix Flame, I'm assuming you're allowed to run, right?
Yep.
There's the adult, but we don't really need that right now. All right, so we'll put all these back for the moment. Bye-bye. Let's find the second Phoenix Flame. Let's start with that. So, is there a second Phoenix Flame in this?
I think there might be one correct, like, if I'm not correct. Oh, yeah, there you go. So
we don't need 3 because we can't do that. All right. So, limit is 2, right?
Yep. Two versions of unique cards. So you can only have up to 2, whereas Classic Construct you do have 3.
Place Headlong, Burn Away. Scar for Scar, Oasis Respite. We got 2 of those now. Flame Call Awakening. Is there another one of those? Nope. Breaking Point, maybe not. Fireborn. I almost feel like, because you're going for what, a 40 card in this one?
Yeah.
There's
Scar
probably
for Scar's good.
Certain point where you have Oasis Respite, too many of those. Razor Reflex got 1. Would that even be useful in this deck, Razor Reflex?
Razor's it's kind of different because I guess technically it does. Does that say sword or dagger, right? I can't remember what Razor Reflex does.
It's target sword or dagger weapon. Yes, correct.
Okay, so yeah, so theoretically what you can do is you can go ahead and if you're looking to kind of bluff your opponent, you can always go ahead and attack with a Searing Ember Blade, and then if you have 1 floating resource, you can use the Razor Reflex on it to come in for 3 more damage. Not terrible. The attack reaction step is kind of where people tend to lose the game in Commoner because you really want to block efficiently but also still present a decent amount of damage. So it's a weird, like every deck is trying to be mid-range. So it's an interesting spot, but for the most part, Razor, even if you just run 1 Razor Reflex, it's kind of a fun little tech to be like, hey, this is how attack reactions work.
All right,
and then you
so
can just hit them with it.
let's look at what we got with where we're at. So as an example, would you want to run In Flames?
In Flames, I personally run. I'm sure there are better cards, but I think for the theme of the deck, doing that is very good. So
how about Lava Burst? You got to go really wide for that to do a lot of extra.
Lava Burst is necessary. So you definitely need to be able to play that.
What about Burn Away?
Burn Away, I'm not big on. If I recall correctly, I think it has you destroy a Phoenix Flame.
You have to banish the Phoenix Flame. When you do, it gets +2 and go again.
Fi's, for those who don't know, Fi's ability is that if you play 3 Draconic cards, for every Draconic card you play in a chain link, you can get a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard for 1 less resource, up to a max of 3. So the goal is to play 3 Draconic chain links and then get a Phoenix Flame back from your graveyard for free, and then attack with it, having it come in for 1 damage or more if you have attack reactions to pump it. So that is the goal. So you kind of want to do Draconic, or even if it's Ninja Draconic, or generic Draconic, that'll be enough to where you should have some floating resources to be able to actually get a solid deck going.
So I obviously have a bunch of crap sitting over here. I can start moving some of these piles to the back without hopefully having them collapse all onto the floor like a dum-dum, because that is the other fun thing about bulk is they... So what about some of these? What do you think thought-wise on, here's kind of where we've gotten so far. We got the Phoenix Flame, Scar for Scar, Lava Burst, In Flames, the Razor Reflex. What other goodies do you think maybe?
I say Flame Call Awakening is super good. If you're going to be running 2 Phoenix Flames, Flame Call Awakening is good. If you can find a second Blaze Headlong, you should definitely be playing Blaze Headlong. Because it is a 0 for 4, and you have to play a red before it in order for it to get go again. And you're going to be playing a red because most of your deck is red. So that's just how that's going to work out.
Betcha. Going.
And then Oasis Respite is good if you're going to be playing against the Wizard matchup, but it is not a necessary thing. If you're just trying to like burn and just like do kind of like a red deck wins kind of deal, you don't need it, but it is okay. Trade in I'm not too big on in this deck because while it does allow you to filter, which is pretty nice, and it is a 3 attack go again if you play it from Arsenal, it is not it's not Draconic, and it is not at a breakpoint. Breakpoints go again and kind of being like a thematic deal is more what you want from a Draconic Ninja, more specifically.
Knew I'd find another one. So what about Breaking Point?
I like Breaking Point as a chain ender. It's essentially like CNC. If you can get to 4 chain links instead of swinging a Phoenix Flame and you have resources, you can instead play that. It plays a lot. Rupture is a fantastic ability because most of your stuff's going to come in for like nothing, and then you just get to swing a whole
Critical
bunch.
Strike worth the time, or because it's not Draconic, it kind of messes with.
Well, I mean, it's not bad because I think it's what is it, a 1 for 5, right? So a 1 for 5 and it blocks 3. It's a good chain ender if it's all you have. If you're looking for things that could possibly go a little bit wider, you might be looking at some cards like Soulbead Strike isn't a bad one. That comes from Crew. So Soulbead Strike is pretty nice if you're trying to do just like some more 0 for 4 breakpoints. But I do like a 1 for 5. Kind of the concept is if you can't get a 3 Dracon or a 3 attack chain and then a Rupture, your goal is to then just provide as much damage as possible, and a 1 for 5 ending your chain is pretty good. So
Fate Foreseen worth throwing in there?
Fate, you can run it in there if you're looking for defensive options, but personally I don't run it. Nice, there you go. I don't personally run D-Reacts in my Phi deck, strictly because my whole, with 20 life, you're able to have get your opponent down to a life total that's like very scary for them very quickly, and that's kind of your whole option. You're trying to just like burn through everything. That Brandwood Cinderclaw red that is right there, you're gonna want 2 of those. You're actually gonna want rainbow of all of them. So
look at that card once it's.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that has been branded with a Cinderclaw. I'll tell you what.
See if I can.
But if you find any more, I run 2 red, 2 blue, and 2 yellow of Brandwood Cinderclaw because it's just good. So.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, there are multiple pitches. I know we're talking about red, but like.
Yep. Yeah. Red. The only reason red works a lot more for Fi is because he cares a lot about his cards care about red cards. A lot of them activate their abilities if you've played a red card during the turn. But it does come in red, yellow, and blue. Most cases, you are just running the reds and the blues. The blues you're going to use to pitch to play for some of your reds, or to at least play for your weapon. And the reds come in just for a ton of damage for near nothing. So it ends up working out pretty good.
Now I'm doing the slow, trying to see if I can find the specific cards instead of the mass box.
Yeah, right.
Open. Here's a stack of weird random WTR. Just shoved in the middle of some other stuff. You already got Scar for Scars.
Yeah.
I got the second Critical Strike. Hey, look, there's another adult.
Another adult 5.
Somebody else can now play an adult.
Ronin Renegade is another good card to pick up if you're looking to do that, because Ronin Renegade is just another 0-cost attack that is Draconic. So if you end up finding any of those are super good.
I mean, the good news is
that's kind of it, right? Like,
yeah,
you're able to...
illusionist.
Yeah. Trust me, if you could play Ember Moss Senpai in Ninja, that'd be rad.
Soaring Strike, Draconic, Sand Cover.
I think that was a yellow brand for Cinderclaw you passed up earlier.
Did I break it? I did. I found one.
There you go.
I'm sure I've passed more, and people are yelling it, in future world.
It's always the thing. If you're watching this and you're going, my God, he's got to go through all these cards to find the one he wants. Oh, it's just because that's how it is, right? Most people don't organize their bulk before they send it to you. And if they do, that means you're definitely not going to be getting anything good. But
the more messy it is, the better odds the odds may ever be in your favor.
Exactly.
These are assassin cards. Can't really do much with those. I am missing, as an example, a lot of the just generic world that kind of was around. So, like, I'm just going to hypothetically jump right in. Like, this is that Monarch stack, right? Like, just as a kind of a fun side tangent, you could look at different generics, right? So, like, thinking of other sets, right? Surging Militia. Some of these cards may not really be the best of choices, but if you had just options, right, there's nothing wrong with running some of these cards. They would still serve a purpose.
Absolutely. And that's also kind of the best thing, is that, like, if you're buying a big box of bulk like this, you have a lot of options in regards to, like, what you have available to you.
Kind of fun if it's short enough of a game or long enough where you can put an attack action on back on top of my deck.
Memorial Ground's actually really good in Azalea, because you're able to get an arrow back onto the top of your deck and then dominate it. Super, super powerful in Commoner. I love it.
That sounds like a hilarious. Just throw it in. Why not?
Surging Militia is very good too. I like it. There's a lot of cards. I mean, there's a lot of cards that are just very weird. Like there is a common 2-cost 6 that comes in, cut down to size. It's a common, and it's from Outsiders. And the whole thing is, like, if you're going against an aggro opponent, you can throw that at them, and if
What's
it hits,
called? Which one is that?
Cut down to size.
Oh, I figured this would be another good one too. The feeling.
It's not a bad one either. I know Andrew over at Dice Commando really enjoys that card, because it's a popper. That's also the other thing. Yeah, cut down to size.
The
red one. Yep, because the red one is also, not only is it a popper, but it's just more damage. Ravenous Rabble isn't bad to put into Fi either, because it's just another... Most of your deck is red, and so when you flip over the top card of your deck with Ravenous Rabble, you see that it is a red most of the time, so it will come in for 4. So a 0 for 4 go again, 0-cost cards with 4 attack power that have the go again keyword on them. That is kind of the bread and butter of Ninja.
Head jab?
Head jab, I would say no, but that's just because it's a 0 for 3 go again, and like I said, you want to find, like, the most value out of them too, right? But they are options, right? They are Ninja cards, and so if you wanted to go more of a, like, strict value and less about the Draconic stuff, you could always make a, like, almost Draconic-less deck for Fi. You can run, like, Kadachis, or you can run Zephyr's Needles. You can even run Tiger Taming Kikara from Part the Mistveil if you really wanted to. There's plenty of options for how you can play the how you can play the hero. So
Maybe a little known fact about these, but did you know that on the red, the arrow's red, on the blue, the arrow's blue, and on the yellow, the arrow's yellow?
I do. I think it's really nice. I see that you see that in like Mistveil stuff now too, where
Yes, there's a couple cards that I actually thought they were misprints at first. I was like, oh, cool. And
right?
I realized, no.
Like they're all just the different colors that's what their pitch values are. So I like that though. It helps determine what the cards kind of like attack, what their value is before you actually look at the strip. Another bobble.
Can I legally put a bobble in my deck? I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. Not in Commoner.
I think you can actually.
Really? You could actually, because I know it says it exists for a sealed and whatever, but like I know
let me see.
I know titanium bobble is a valid bobble, but like
you can definitely put crack bobble in your deck. It doesn't do anything besides pitch for blue or pitch for yellow, but
yeah,
you can do it. All right, my cat's coming to hang out.
Sweet. Hello, Kitty.
He's hanging out. This is everybody on the internet. This is Bubba. Bubba, he's a very needy boy, and he just wants attention. So he's coming to hang out.
I had at the end of December last year my, I guess, life partner pet that I've had for many, many years. He passed away from feline leukemia or feline FIV is what it's called. Yeah, it came really, really sudden. It kind of... It's only been a little over 6 months, and it feels like it's been a millennium. Like it's crazy because he was just like that. He was very cuddly, wanted to hang out all the time, and it's, even every once in a while I look down and I'm like, oh, you're not here, because he would be basically bugging the same thing. He'd be hanging out in the studio and doing that. The other cats we have, they're very much prissy, and they don't like cuddling. So like, I was kind of mad. I was like, one of you guys needs to step up and just take the banner and run with it.
Somebody needs to take this torch, okay? Because we need cuddly cats around here. Yeah, we had 2 cats, but same kind of deal, not the same illness, but we just kind of like one of our cats just like slowly started degrading in health, and then we were like, oh, it's probably just like a little thing. We had the vet look at her and said it was just like essentially just congestion, and we were like, oh, okay, it's fine, no problem, we'll get that all taken care of, and they'll be fine. And then it was just immediately like the worst that it could be, and it just kind of all happened really, really quick. But
yep, that's the typical way.
That's the unfortunate part about having a pet is knowing that you will probably outlive them, unless they're like a reptile in most cases. So.
Oh yeah. Renegade. Renegade, there you go, 2 of those, Periphery Scout and Searching. So let's see, how many cards do I have? Is that a valid deck?
Probably. I mean, you only need 40. I think the only thing you'd want to make sure is that you're at least running some blues, because you're going to want to be able to pitch to like Searing Emberblade and so on and so forth. So
that's 34, and that is a like 1 blue. So what do I need to throw in for blues? Let's
see. If you can find Ronin Renegades, they're great picks.
And those
Lava
are from,
Vein Loyalty.
Outsiders, right?
Those are from Uprising.
Oh.
Most of the cards that are really, really good for Fi come out of Uprising. Rising Resentment is another great red card if you wanted to put a Rising Resentment in there. Switch it out for maybe a Surging Strike or something.
You're saying I should get, which one? What blue pitch should I probably go for?
Lava Vein Loyalty.
See, I remember seeing some of those. Lava Vein Loyalty, ask and you shall get.
Nice.
There you go. Kaboom.
And then I think Ronin Renegade. I think you may have passed it earlier too. Ronin Renegade is another blue that I can suggest putting in there. Just because if you want to keep with the Draconic theme, it's pretty good. So.
I know we already got one of those in there, I think. This is what it's like building decks, folks. Ronin Renegade.
Yeah, right.
This is the difference between doing it physically and just having the ability to type shit in on just like Talishar or whatever. Like,
and I literally just have my own commoner deck list pulled up, and I'm just like, these are the cards that I think that'll be great. And something that's also really great about getting like a bulk order like this, where it's multiple different sets, you do get to have that option of switching things up or whatever. But even if you just buy like a box of a draftable set, you can always go ahead and take any
here.
cards that are in there for that class, and you can just slap them together in a deck, and you can probably make a pretty solid commoner deck out of just the cards that come in the set. So that is always an option.
Are these the ones that I crimped wrong? One of these I crushed. But here, if you want, we can open up. Here, let's provide.
There you go. Why not, right?
Some new cannon fodder to the theoretical.
Let's just watch you open up a Marvel real quick.
Shh. Could put a come to find a blue brush off. There you go. Cut down to size. Isn't that one we wanted? That was blue.
Yeah. The reds are usually better, but blue isn't terrible either because it is a breakpoint. So.
Faces frailty. A foil Pox Malone.
There you go.
Ooh. And guess what? Right in the bulk. Yes.
Right? You just throw it in the same pile. You don't have to worry about it. You'll organize it later.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, I was like.
Oh.
Oh.
It's okay. It could be something in there.
Scout the periphery, maybe. Brush off. Head jab. There's a blue one.
Right. Blue head jab.
Fisticuffs. A wither.
There you go. The withers. Man, those rainbow foil withers with the stamp from the set look so good.
This is the third. Is this the trifecta here?
Yep, the third one. You know what that means?
Azalea. Got some Azalea. Ravenous Rabble, maybe. Brush off. Here, I gotta do that. I gotta. Pow! Pow!
Whoa!
Pow!
Oh, come on!
Oh! That's a foil majestic.
See?
Look at that.
Look at that! The third one.
Can't put that in though.
Can't put it in a commoner deck, but
if there are 10 or more defense reactions in the graveyard, draw a card. I'm positive this has some future use case.
I mean, it's certainly like a crazy use into like fatigue builds. So yeah, so like you probably have a ton of stuff in there for. You might actually have enough for
39.
a pretty solid deck.
And we're gonna randomly throw in one more generic blue, just because that'll give me something stupid fun. I said that, and I can't.
Right, and of course now you can't find one, right?
Okay, well, fuck it, we're here. I can always get more.
That's right. We're gonna find it in this pack.
It's generic blue. We're looking for a generic blue, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's kind of fun.
If you're playing head jab, you could always play that 1-2 punch. It is a combo card with head jab.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh! Look at this. I guess we're opening up an Outsiders box today because
let's go.
Two foil Majestics, 2 packs in a row. What are we doing?
These are like random. These were just random. Like I had them laying around because I just had like kind of some extra packs that I was like, oh, I think I need to, see if they are part of my. There you go. Cut down to size
Nice.
blue. I need to see if these are part of my pack collection, because one of the things that I do is I collect one of each pack art.
I see.
Has been something I've been doing. And because, in the more recent sets, they did both a paper and a plastic, I discovered that I had a surplus of a couple of the various ones, but not all of them. So
there you go. Yeah, that's probably a good idea for me. I should probably start collecting at least like a pack of each, and I've already started. I have some empty boxes for boxes I open as just like a fun collector thing. But I don't know. I don't keep too much sealed. I'd rather just keep like a sealed pack of art and just kind of hang out and have a good time with it. So, but you made a deck out of bulk.
We have it.
It's done.
We have one deck now.
That's it.
Now I gotta play it.
Right.
And I found a pile of semi-fun stuff and 1 or 2 random Majestics, and then obviously the opening of, 2 decent.
2 foil Majestics. That amplifying arrow, everybody's got so much hype for.
Oh yeah, I need to probably just turn around and get that to somebody before it turns into ham fest. So, what are we at? Oh, we're a little over an hour in. Wow, that wasn't that bad actually.
No,
really.
Not bad. I would say. I mean, like it said, once you find the cards, pretty good. So
I love how there's just a one random effing white border card in the middle.
Yeah, that's the best part about going through bulk is that you're just like, oh, what is that? And I was like, that looks special. Oh, it's just a white border card. So remember, you can mix and match. You can play as much stuff. That's kind of like the best part about Commoner and Clash for me is I'm always just like, yeah, I really can just take cards that I have as bulk and make them into a legitimate deck that is actually pretty good in its power level comparatively to the other decks in the format. Whereas if you took those same cards and went to a Blitz Armory, you probably wouldn't have the same outcome or the same kind of experience. But that's just why I like these. So
obviously, if this is, let's say this is the core of where someone gets, so they now have this Blitz Commoner deck. If they wanted to go to Clash, they can then add the rares that I put off to the side. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. So essentially all it is the same deck structure of 2 of any unique card, and 40 cards minimum, or 40 cards, it's a 52 card deck, but 40 cards maximum presented in your main deck. And
so that's
you
just
can
to give
add
you
rares.
options on your equipment then?
Yep, equipment, any of your sideboards, so that's again... Arcane Barrier is kind of like the other way you deal or Arcane Damage is the other way you deal damage in this game. It's mainly for wizards and rune blades and illusionists, so you really only see it there. So if you're going against any of those heroes, you're going to want to have armor to properly block out that damage, which is where things like Tide Flippers and any of that null rune stuff that was put there, that stuff all has a good place in a sideboard in case you end up seeing it. Because the good thing about Flesh and Blood is that you announce your hero before you start sideboarding. So that allows you to learn what your opponent has so you can prepare yourself for your matchup.
And I think that was the one thing that someone was trying to get at the other day is because I'd even theorized at one point that maybe there would be a piece of equipment in the future that would add a talent on. As an example, there's the one that does Royal right now, right? But let's say you added one that, again, would be Ice or something, and they found a way to lock it down. The question is that by doing that, let's say you had ice cards in your deck, that would kind of invalidate your... I don't see them doing that now that I thought through the process, because you can't present your deck, or if you present your hero and then change your, modal card, you'd almost have to have something that's like an if-then statement on it that would say, like, this card in your deck does this, but if you're an ice whatever, it does this plus A, B, C, and D.
Correct. It's kind of the same concept of, Crown of Dominion does not block and does not have a block value, so therefore you can't get a way to find it to be destroyed or anything like that. There are very niche situations in which you would destroy a Crown of Dominion, and even still, if you do destroy a Crown of Dominion, the only thing you lose out on is being Royal, which only affects 4 cards in the entirety of the game.
Currently.
And currently. So the options are certainly available, but I think if they went oh, hey, here's a card to make the cards in your deck, you can also carry Ice, I would say that what they do instead is you would play it, or you would present it. It would give you a token that is a permanent token on your side of the board that has an indestructible ability, and then it gives you an element. But I don't know. I don't think they'll do it again. That's it. That's all of it. Several Majestics and super rares out of that box, and that it turns out to be pretty good. We also still don't know if they're Sink Belows and other fun
I'll be honest,
rare cards.
I'm sure that the quote unquote value of what is in here does not add up to the total that I probably paid for it, which is fine. But at the same time, this is a beautiful scenario for someone who just wants to be able to build 5 or 6 different decks. Now, one of the caveats here, obviously, is it's good that the tokens are in here, so at least from outsiders, you have most of the heroes, you have some other stuff from the other, sets. But I can tell from some of the other sets, maybe like the Monarchs and whatever, there wasn't a lot of those in here. And then with the white border stuff, I think I saw a Dory, a Data Doll. You got some odd stuff. I got the Sledgehammer in here. Iron Rock Gauntlets. I mean, just a smattering of just odd. But yeah, I see a silly Achilles accelerator. So as long as I can find a dash, I could probably do some fun stuff with that. There was definitely enough mech cards in here from like Dynasty, as an example. There's probably a good smattering of stuff in there. So
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing with a box of bulk like that for like $40, you have a ton of options if you're looking for just like a budget build to get you and a bunch of your friends into the game and just kind of play it out. Myself as well as several creators on YouTube or Twitter or wherever it might be. There's videos on deck lists for the proper builds for these things. So if you end up or you're looking through your bulk and you're trying to find those perfect cards, you have options for that there. And I think that's just kind of like, it's great. There's always something for you to look at and find, and it ends up working out. So.
I do want to call this out. On TCG Player, you can get bulk lots. So here is a bulk lot set, Flesh and Blood bulk card lot. This is 500 to 1,000, so this is 1,000 and over, right? I don't know what the prices are here, but here's an example of this one says
from MinMax. Look at that. That's literally from MinMax. That's funny.
Over 1,000. So like this is an example of just 1,000. So at $13 a piece, right? 13 times 5 is about 50 or 60. This would be $60, right? That's right in line with what this would be. So that's truly an option, and they have probably quite a bit. Here is another one that says about 1,000. I think most people are going to go with 1,000 because once you get into these UPS large flat rate boxes, you really have to be pretty dedicated to say I'm going to ship a thing like. But here's one that says 3,000 Flesh and Blood cards with shipping included. So they don't have a photo of it, but that's an example of one. I think the largest one on here just says rainbow. Oh wow! Wait,
bulk card of rainbow foils.
Is that it's 1,000? You get 1,000 rainbow foils for $110. Yep. Okay, I might just
not entirely terrible, but personally, if you want, if listeners or even you are asking my personal opinion, I would not spend $110 for bulk foils. Because that is an absurd amount of money. I would much rather.
It's a booster box. Technically, that is one booster box, give or take, with tax most of the time. But with taxes on this, you're probably looking at 120. So I guess that is pretty high. So what would that be?
$120 for foils? I mean, I guess I should say if your regular foil was worth more money.
That's 12 cents a card at that price.
And most of them are 12 cents. Like most rainbow foils. I think most rainbow foils have a floor of like 20 cents. So theoretically, you're getting them at a discount. But the problem you have here is one of two things. One, it could just be just a lot of rainbow foils that are not like super powerful or anything. And it's going to be things you can put in a commoner or clash deck, but they're not going to be anything insane. Two, the unfortunate part about Flesh and Blood, along with many TCGs, the rainbow foils do curl.
The pro players seem to not really want them.
Yeah, they're not very great for the market unless, of course, you can you treat them in a way that they you double sleeve them the second you get them, and then you put them under 10-pound weights to make sure they're flattened, and you do this whole thing. You have to go through like a whole system to flatten it, and then they're totally fine so long as they don't get inside any kind of humid area. But it's a long process, and a lot of people, including myself, if I'm going to build a competitive deck, whether it be for commoner or for clash or for whatever, I'm going to be using non-foils for the main cards in my deck, strictly because if I go to an event, like an official organized play event, and any of my cards are curled, that could be a reason for a judge to deck check you and then give you a penalty because one of your cards is curled in a way that shows that it is significantly different from the rest. It's a very big deal. It's very frowned upon, and a lot of people don't like running rainbow foils because of it. So, but if you're collecting, it's fine because they're going to stay in a binder. So.
Yeah, I think once I get my sets more ironed out. So back to the whole fab set thing behind me, I have, WTR, then I have Arc, Crucible, Monarch. I have a Tales that I've started, which is kind of weird because there's a first and unlimited. I mean, there's a first unlimited for crew, but I was never going to have first and unlimited for Arcane Rising and WTR just because I never got in that early. I have a smattering of random cards that ironically I found in bulk over the years, but again, nothing insane. But like, do you want to collect both an unlimited and a first edition set of Tales of Aria? And then because right after that, right, I think the Everfest was the first one print, and then everything else from there is one print. So it's kind of easy for Everfest, and then for Uprising, Dynasty's not too bad. But when you start getting into some of the more advanced sets, where they have all these marvels and stuff, they're great for collectability. It does make set collecting a little bit weird.
It is definitely an extra feat to have that happen, and it's obviously if you are a set collector at heart, you probably also understand how to set collect at the best value of itself. Something that I always suggest is, again, starting with a lot of that bulk. I got, quite literally, and I kid you not, you paid for that bulk that is on your table right now, but sometimes if you just go to your LGS on the release of a set and you ask the LGS whether or not they have bulk, most of the time they will just give it to you. I am given all of the bulk. Granted, the bulk that I'm given, I make several commoner or clash decks for the store to hand out to new players beforehand, but they never ask for it back. I get to keep it and I get to utilize it for myself as well. And now I have a whole bunch of bulk on top of it, and I didn't pay a dime. It's just showing up. A lot of people just don't want to hold on to bulk, which is fine because a lot of people aren't sellers. But in some situations, you definitely want to make sure that you're going to be prepared in a situation. So if a new set comes out, when Rosetta comes out and you're like, I really want to collect this set because the art looks beautiful and I'm really gorgeous and I really want to do that, just go to your pre-release, play in a pre-release, come the week afterwards, and then go to ask your fellow players there, or even your LGS, because they tend to open boxes on that release week, and a lot of people will go, oh yeah, I've already got all the cards that I need for this, and I just need to buy the rest of the singles online, so you can just take this bulk because I'm not going to use it. So that's the perk of it.
Yeah. And I guess it also depends on your local crowd scene too. I don't know anybody around here that does mass box openings. I think most of the boxes that get bought, the players will buy and then open, and then that's where the players will kind of give out the cards to the different people that want them. So
Yep, and it's all just based on what you want to do. I mean, I got a ton of Dusk Till Dawn bulk when I first moved out here. I was immediately looking for Dusk Till Dawn, and I was just like, all right, there we go. Yeah, look at that, Rampafo Crouching Tiger.
I found that in a box about a week ago.
Nice.
I go through these, every other couple of days. I try to open up one or two from here and there and find the stuff.
Good. Yeah, it's great. I think, I don't know, I always have such a great time looking through bulk because it is oftentimes you end up finding some gems, and a lot of stuff, especially now that Crouching Tigers are more relevant. I'm pretty sure the Rainbow Foil Crouching Tigers are still doing pretty okay. I mean, they're obviously not the Marvels or anything, but I believe
I would imagine
doing pretty well. Let me see. Is it Rainbow Foil Crouching Tiger goes for about $450.
Wow.
So
I mean, they add up, right? If you had 2, 3, 4 of them,
and that's what I'm saying.
Somebody did an altar I saw. I shared it back out on Twitter. That was like the fat kitties that were like all rolling around. It was.
Oh my god, I saw those. Those were so cute. They were so cute. I love it. It's the best thing also is that like you can just play around with whatever you want for your deck. Do you like changing your tokens to be looking like different things, or even your hero? Just do it.
Something else to call out for people when you look for bulk. These are from Dusk Till Dawn. They have the extended art. They're the rares. They're non-foil. But these are about $1 a piece. And again, at one point or another, I've seen people not care about those. So it is intriguing when you start trying to do the whole value proposition of what's what and what's where.
Yeah, like if you really want to think about it, if I took my if I took my commoner Phi deck that I have up for me right now,
Got the
and I
rarest
wanted
version of everyone.
you get the rarest version of everyone. The only downside is that if I really want to do the rarest version, a lot of the cards that I run in there are also from like first edition Crucible and everything. First Ed Crew, First Ed WTR. So when you consider the deck in general, it's about $20. But if you wanted to buy it in its max version, it's $1,890 for a commoner deck if you wanted to bling it out. And obviously,
Wow.
if you've been in the game for a while and you already have these cards, like, and you plan to play with them, then that's great. But the good thing is that you don't need to have things cold foil first and foremost, but most of the stuff that comes out now, especially from 2.0 until now, I guess really even from Monarch even until now, it's all incredibly affordable cold foils that you can just chuck into your deck and be like, oh yeah, look, I'm playing a fully built out deck. A lot of the cold foil young heroes are also really affordable. The cold foil Marvel young heroes from most recent sets are also super great and cheap. They're about like $50 for a Marvel, which is bonkers to me, but that's because a lot of people are playing Classic Constructed over Blitz.
I do need to probably buy some more of a specific card now that I've thought about it.
Is this that card that you're talking about for your
I'm
the
seeing,
equipment piece?
I'll give another hint. I'm seeing how much they are. Holy crap. They're less than $1 a cold foil.
Less than $1 a cold foil?
Holy,
Card could you possibly even be looking for?
Holy crap. Holy
Is it just
moly.
one piece of equipment that shows this individual, or
I believe at the moment there is only one piece of equipment that shows this theme and
theme you
TCG.
say?
Hold on. Now I'm curious. Now I have tickled my fancy enough to where I'm going to attempt something real quick. So I know I
You
need
know
to
what?
buy.
Send it to me through Discord, and and I won't say it because I'm genuinely curious.
I'm gonna add a bunch of them to my cart right now, and I'm gonna buy $10 worth.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. The buyout's happening right now.
I mean, at the price, I'll just.
I see what you're talking about.
I think that my spider senses are tingling, and for the price, I love it. And with this particular set, another nugget of information for those that are curious, there were 2 different distinct styles of foiling depending upon where you actually were at. Because
Really?
yes, the actual foil, and that's the only reason I really want to buy more of this card, is because I want to see how many of each style of foil I can get, and it's across the entire set.
Oh, wow.
Each cold foil in this set, there are 2 variations. Wow. Okay, that adds up really quick. So I have
A lot of them end up being really cheap, and then like maybe like 8 listings in, they end up being like $1, $1.50, $3, and then it's like, you know,
so for
you get into
me
the
to
people.
get there are 22 packages. If I wanted to get right now, I have 38 of them in my cart. Oh, I lied. I need to move one item out of my cart. I had the fabled for the part the Misfail because I needed to buy that. So hold on, let me save that for later. Let me readjust my thought process here. Okay, that's much more in line with what I thought. So there are 21 packages, 37 total cards for $40. About $1 a card.
Yep, that's not terrible. And if you're truly specking on them, I mean, like, gosh, I certainly hope you're right. But that is,
I honestly just love the art. So that's the other thing. I love this art enough to where, if nothing else, I typically don't ever, spec so much on cards. But like,
right.
I have another piece of artwork from that same set that I bought. It was one of the only. If you've watched my channel and I don't know, this is kind of a trick for people to go back and maybe watch some of my old content. I talked about a scroll that I purchased from when I was in Baltimore, And that particular piece of artwork has, I think, the most beautiful piece of art in Flesh and Blood. And I'm going to send it
My goodness.
for you because
I'm so curious.
It's from the
so
same
many people. Their entire. Yeah. Okay. I see where your head's at. I see where your head's at with this.
It's thematic. It's very very on point with what could be a possibility.
And the fact that this cold foil is as cheap as it is too, anyway, that's also the same insane deal. Like
100%. And there's even
wild.
for those that are curious an extended version of these cards too. Of certain ones. So.
Oh, so good. Honestly, if there's a cold foil set that I want to collect like a lot of, and I think this is crazy because I have never been drawn to a set of cards as much as I have with the Radiant set that is from Dusk Till Dawn.
Radiant set.
Yeah, it's Radiant View, Radiant Touch, Radiant Raiment, and Radiant Flow.
Oh yeah, those are beautiful, and I would imagine
absolutely gorgeous in cold foil. Like,
are they actually pretty expensive? Nope, they're the same ballpark in price. And
yeah.
That's the weird thing, right? Is I feel like I should probably. I've talked about play sets before. I jokingly believe wholeheartedly that a playset in Flesh and Blood is not 2, is not 3, but is actually about 20.
That's a lot.
The reason I say a playset is 20 is because if you want to do a UPF deck, that's 4 times 3 players, that's 12. Then you have one CC deck, that's 15 now. And you have one Blitz deck, that's 17. And then if you wanted to have the collection, you have non-foil, rainbow foil, and sometimes a cold foil, which is where the 20 comes in. So it's 19 or 20, but I just rounded to 20 for every card. That would be the player set of play set for everybody, up to 4 players, and your set collection, which is extreme, obviously. But when you're talking about commons, right? Like, that's not that hard. I can get 20 copies of a common. You know?
Yeah, commons, the commons and rares, easy to get. So
can't get 20 copies of, like, legendaries or majestics probably, but even having 3 is still useful, right? But in my perfect world in the future, when PvE becomes a bigger a bigger thing, right? Like we were talking on our last episode, the chapter, the raid time. Have you seen the insides of these?
No, I've not.
Oh, here, let's go and where
I'd love to check it out.
I need to go cam 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
That's the one.
That's the one. So this is from that Techlo Crow gentleman, and I'd love to schedule some time where maybe we can figure out a way to play this via webcam with us and maybe a couple other people. But this is his first chapter, and this is the Necromancer one, and I guess I can make our lives more fun. Zoom on in and watch this. I can go.
Whoa, focused.
And yeah, so he has a digital copy of these I think you can get, but I really wanted the physical cards so that we could play. But yeah,
I'd love to get the physical cards, yeah.
Like Skeletal Warrior, look at that. It's a 5 I guess health, 2 attack, once per turn, 0 go against their Skeletal Warriors, Mutilated Flesh, star 8.
So these are like the creatures you fight.
Yeah, I believe that's part of. Yeah, I haven't really read the in-depth portion of this yet. As far as there's like, these are the creatures, and I think that's what that deck is.
I wonder if they made the. Do you know if Techlo Crow made the art for the set, or if he got it commissioned, or?
I have no idea actually.
It looks pretty good.
So like this one says, thanks for checking out my unofficial PvE. Where's my focus down here? Unofficial PvE. I hope you enjoyed. Keep having fun with it. It's the first chapter, and you can expect there to be more. He's actually working on number 4. I just talked to him recently about that because when 4 comes out, I do want to get it. And then this is his tiny URL, Adventures of Wraith, so you can find that. But like these backs here, this is the prologue, Decay, Necrotic Touch, Nightmare, and then you can see some of the cool like potions, potion of time warp, amulet. This is, I think, one of the people you go against, undead, token.
Right.
And then there's another, that's like the adult, like, or the bigger one.
Oh, yeah.
And here are the dungeon components. So, like, you would explore the dungeon, I think, is how you're...
Man, I gotta buy this. Oh, my God. This is so cool.
And here's the real kicker, right? Like, these are more, like, this is the Nevermore. But, like, there's the... Before, I think the full arts were really a big thing, because I don't remember when he released this, but then, like, boom, there's the full art. Like, same with something like this.
Wow.
So that's cool. And then I'm assuming that's the weapon for this guy.
Right.
I think that's the weapon for that one, and I think that's the weapon for Nevermore? Wizard offhand? Wizard, yeah, so this is the wizard. The wizard abomination. Boom, boom. So that's part of it. And then each of his chapters, I guess there's a little bit more stuff. Now this whole deck here is the deck that, like, the wizard plays. So,
right.
Like, you'll see these are all wizard actions.
So it sounds a whole lot like you bring your own deck in, and you can fight against this, right?
That's the way I understand it, yes. These are the tokens over here again, so pretty much all this is just the spawn of whatever's happening from a long time ago. There's a little story here. I won't spoil that really just yet. Each hero... attack has -1 and costs an additional resource. So, like, if the decay challenge token is out, that happens. Or necrotic touch. Whenever you defend an undead attack, your defending hero loses 1 life. So,
wow.
That's kind of necro nightmare. Is whenever, and this is the challenge token that says whenever a dungeon would roll a dice, instead consider the highest possible result. Whenever the 3rd undead attacks a turn, necrotic, what does it say? Hits a turn. Create a necrotic or a dead touch. So you're basically like, I don't know, like a screw you
just
card.
Slappy.
Like,
yeah, exactly. That's the hard mode. That's the crazy hard mode for that one.
If this was a hero in the game, like as an example, this is if hulking abomination attacks equal to the total number of cards in every banish zone at the start of each turn, hero gets a soul shackle. Create a skeletal servant token. Once per turn, 0 attack. So, like,
oh wow,
that can probably get pretty beefy.
Yeah,
strong.
that gets crazy, especially depending on how many people you're going against. Like,
and then this one's kind of unique. It has I love the dice roll stuff. That's really what got me into this originally, was the dice roll.
It's all about dice rolling.
This one has skeletal queen cannot be attacked. There'll be another undead in play. At the start of your turn, create a skeletal servant. Once per turn, 0, create a 1d6 skeletal knight, or do 1/2. So I just love the random roll. I think that's kind of fun.
It's great. I mean, like it is. The closer, I feel like most people will be happy the closer it is to Dungeons and Dragons. It's the closer it is to a dungeon crawl or some kind of form of you roll dice and a random encounter happens or something like that. I feel like it's really important for a lot of people who are looking towards PvE. So,
and I haven't even opened this one yet. I bought these all like kind of ad hoc. I think I paid him on PayPal. I believe I got almost all these shipped to me directly. I think at one point I saw them at an event, and I think they were either sold out or it was only like one like limited run, because I don't think he's made a lot of these, if I recall.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's not like you can go to your LGS and get these. I think they're pretty much like...
No, you'd have to get them from him, right?
He probably paid a printer service to, like, get these, printed or whatever.
Because believe it or not, I actually do know of a place that you can do exactly this. I mean, you can get them in a special box and then also print out like game cards and put your own backing on it and so on and so forth. So I have a general idea about what services you can use to do something like this.
I'm trying to not like completely destroy the box.
Nice.
Although, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's not official cards, but like I still don't, want to destroy it. So this is what, chapter 2. There you go. There's a undead something.
Nice.
That's
Terror. Terror.
There you go. Look at that. That's
that's
cool
nice.
art.
Dang.
Sabertooth.
Oh, it's a brute. Oh, wow, that's pretty. Holy shoot. That's
Alpha Warhorn. Blood Pact.
It's like an ancient vampire. This guy's cool.
There's the prologue. Blood Chain, generic aura token. Another blood chain with like some rockin' art.
I gotta know if he commissioned this art. This looks great. It all looks like it's from the same artist doing
blood
this stuff.
tentacles. Look at that.
Crazy.
Proclamation of Torment. Relic of Shadow something. Scroll from Dimension. Corrupted Shield. That looks... Oh, dude, that looks cool.
That looks good as hell. Man.
I mean, honestly,
right.
if I wouldn't have known better, I would have thought this was from Flesh and Blood.
Right.
Like, to some extent, like, I'm sure that there will be some people that'll be like, there's definitely not their art. Or what, you know, like, whatever. But, like, this is... It's good enough. 66, 666, God.
Oh, my gosh. I gotta... You know what? I'm gonna message Techlochrome Critter on Twitter. I'm gonna see.
Just tell him Jake sent you.
I'm just gonna be like my guy. I got
this is a gem resource. Look at that.
Ooh, the Old Blood Droplet.
And then this is a Shadow Brute, so that's probably... Oh, wow, this is like extended art. Look at that.
And so it looks like what it is that each one of these, it's like a deck that the heroes, or really the villains, use. Oh my god, that's Levia.
Okay, so, now... this I may technically... I think I'd have a problem with this in the grand scope of the things, I think. Right? Maybe? I don't know.
I would say so. I would say, why didn't you just put Levia in there?
Well, like, maybe because he doesn't have that, or maybe he's having to print it, but at the same token, like, this crosses a kind of a fine line to where I know that a lot of people get up in arms on it, but I believe if the hero is the exact, you know, intellect and everything as would be on the token, that probably gets into some intellectual property issues, especially if you're using, you know, names that are the same.
I would imagine so. I would imagine so. I think it's able to be utilized as a token, because obviously those things are all tokens in the game.
Sure. And I mean, there are plenty of altar artists that I've seen do some pretty interesting stuff too. So I'm not trying to shit on them too hard, but that maybe it's that might have to change for long-term sales to... Yeah,
I guess my whole personal thing is I'm fine with anybody creating something that's cool using the, you know, utilizing a game engine, as long as it's either commissioned, like actual commissioned art, or like art that the person has done, because I'm not very big on like AI art kind of concept, and I don't quite love seeing it. And it's, you know, I'm not really one to like immediately be like, well, that's definitely AI art, but that's just kind of why I like to determine my source before.
I will have to send you something. I found an AI song generator the other day.
I heard about that. My girlfriend downloaded that. That was really funny.
And I created a Flesh and Blood song that I shall share with you.
That's so funny.
It definitely think this is this is definitely what, an old hymn style, or like a
more frost.
touch.
It's very frostbite stuff, I'd imagine.
There's a prologue. These are, you know, some sort of dungeon piece here. Scorched Glory. Look at that.
That was my nickname in high school.
Talisman Thrawn. Amulet of Singing. This is ice. Get out. No ice. Holy shnikes.
Wow, 99 health. There's got to be something where it's like...
Well, it says if Frostmaw has 7 more fatigue counters, destroy them. If a Frostmaw... Oh, that is the Frostmaw.
Yeah, this is the Frostmaw. So if you get a fatigue counter on it...
At the start of your turn, gain a resource for each opposing hero. What? Woo! Create X+3 Frost Tentacle tokens. 5, 6. Holy crap. This sounds like this is a devastating... I wonder if they get more hard. There's a Frost Aberration, Frost Construct, Frost Corpse. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
In something elemental. I mean, there's just so many different things.
A lot of tokens in there.
What is this? This is beautiful. What is
Winter
that?
Oath Under Snow.
Elemental Runeblade Villain. Helmet of Amplification. Winter's Hunger. Night's Mourn.
Oh my god.
And these are Ice Rune Blades. God, that's a combination that's fucking scary.
I would kill for an Ice Rune Blade. I think that would be so cool. I think
Rune Blades.
That would be the LSS if you're listening to this somehow.
Oh man.
Ice Rune Blade. Make it happen.
See, I guess that was part of these were already busted out because this box had a damage in the corner, which I knew about, but like, oh, so there's there's an Icelander that again would be the whatever version of alternate art, and then a Frostbite and a Rune Chant. I'm not as mad, like I wouldn't be mad about these. Like there's a lot of people that have tried doing the alternate tokens. I mean, I've seen, I think DM Armada and Red Zone do some stuff like that. So,
see, I imagine the thing is that honestly, looking at it, right? I imagine the reason that you're not utilizing the actual cards is because you're trying to sell it as its own product, and if you're trying to sell it, you can't use the IP of Flesh and Blood to sell it, because you're not with the company.
You can't manufacture and put it in the thing. So
correct.
But that's chapters 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm gonna buy his chapter 4. So.
Well, they certainly look like a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I'll check them out.
Find a way to...
art aside, it's it looks like it's pretty well constructed. So I'd like to see how well the difficulty level is into something like that.
And my random fancy schmancy knife that.
Fancy knife.
It's the Damascus. I was gonna actually try to make a cool like handle for this. That's why I bought the blade. It's on my long list of infinite to-do items. So, well, I kind of want to, I guess, maybe start wrapping some of this up because I think at this point we've definitely covered some fun stuff, and
I would say.
I don't know. Did you like the kind of random dive in to all the now I can go find all the foils over the next day or two. It'll be kind of fun sorting all these and figuring out what's what. So
yeah, I honestly I always love going through bulk, and like I said, I have a sickness. I'll go through bulk. If you want to send me your bulk, I'll just take it. I'll just take anybody who's got bulk. I'll gladly. You don't even have to sort it. Matter of fact, I prefer you don't. And I just so I just sort it myself, and I make that happen. Oh, so yeah. It is definitely going to be a. I love looking through it, and I know that having those opportunities to actually look through and find like the budget builds that you can get for the decks are always super great. So. Yeah.
Well, I think that's something I should try to work with you at some point in the next maybe week or two on is probably get like a Talishar game or something in on. I'd love to do some commoner and maybe even talk through some of the lines of play as an example. Maybe if I turn this Phi deck into a digital build, we could, as an example, play with that as a hypothetical example. I do also think that there's a really interesting mathematic side to Fab that I know a lot of people haven't really dove into. But, this as an example, the, permutations of a hand, if you have 4 cards, you could play this, then do these, or you could play this and do that. That's if you had 4. Well, then you add in your equipment, you add in your hero ability, and you add in the, weapon or weapons or offhand. Now that permutation goes up exponentially, right? So, there's just so many lines you could do, and then maybe trying to do a choose your own adventure as an example and walk through the options of this is what one hand could do, right? I think someone would be blown away that if you were to set up a 4-piece of equipment, a hero, a weapon, and maybe an arsenal card and a hand, and then say, here's my board state. Say this is one route, this is route 2, this is route 3, this is route 4. You'll probably get to at least 10 or 15 different options you could choose. And I think most people would just be blown away that that's even possible because in other games, that's not really a thing.
Something that I don't know whether or not this series is still going on. I actually don't remember the name of the creator that was doing it. So apologies if I have forgotten you. Please comment below and let me know if this is you. But there was somebody who was on Twitter and they were they essentially set up a board state and they were like, how do you kill your opponent? And they gave you the amount of cards that were left in your hand, the equipment that was left open and not destroyed that you could use, your hero, the weapons you had available, what was what your opponent's hand looked as far as like how many cards they had in their hand, and it was solving the puzzle, right? That is always kind of the point of Flesh and Blood. Some decks, they don't care about the puzzle, they care about how much damage can I do in one hand, right?
Yeah, how fast can I swing? Yep.
Yeah, but some other ones they care a lot more about the puzzle, right? You know, where can I sneak in a little bit of damage to get that disruption? Where can I get a little bit of this hit to give myself an edge and ahead in the tempo? How can I force my opponent to block my cards so that way they have less of a powerful turn on their own? And that's kind of the, you know, it's always I've always determined Flesh and Blood as a puzzle because there's so many different things that you have to learn and figure out with a huge amount of heroes on the roster. It's always a different puzzle every single time you play a different hero. One ninja is not going to play the same as another. One rune blade's not going to play the same as another. So you have to learn those heroes, learn those matchups, and even in Commoner, a format where all the cards are common and you wouldn't think that the power level is as high as it is, you're able to still present a ton of damage and do a lot of different puzzle piece things in Commoner, even at that level. So
I guarantee if there was a way to keep the exact setup of shuffled cards in the order, hand that exact setup to, say, a Hamilton or a Fang or a Brody, they each would have a different mindset, approach, and a tactic within reason versus maybe someone like myself that, yeah, I understand ninjas go wide and go, you know, have fun, but there may be some strategy to it that I'm just not aware of, right? Especially depending on who you're going against and what hero you're, you know, 5 versus Icelander, different strategy than 5 versus, you know, maybe Katsu, or 5 versus Azalea, or 5 versus Benji. You know, those might be totally different scenarios.
Yep.
Where you have to play the whole game differently. So.
Yep, I think that's always such a big deal too. Is that you know, sometimes you're left in a situation where you have a card left in your hand, you have enough resources to play it, but is your answer going to be play the card for potential additional damage, or arsenal the card to set yourself up for a bigger turn on your next turn? And so those thought processes change from player to player, from playstyle to playstyle against each different hero. And no matter what format you're in, that's exactly the kind of mindset it is. So again, there's that puzzle that you have to solve, right?
I'm just mad I can't Nitro Mechanoid in Commoner or in, you know, I guess Clash.
You can't do it in, can't do it in Clash either.
I'm stuck in UPF with that, and that's my, you know.
Just play Blitz. You can do it in Blitz.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
You can do it. I mean, theoretically, I guess, you know, you could do it in any of those. But yeah, UPF, as far as like a casual format, you can do it.
So circling back to last week's topic, will the first strike decks be Blitz compatible theoretically, even if the power level may not be to snuff? Like, I think the answer is yes, but
yeah, it totally will, because the Blitz decks have never been up to snuff as far as Blitz power level, like ever. I don't think there's been a single Blitz deck that has come out that has been like, yeah, I can bring this to a battle hardened, like a Blitz battle hardened, and go there and win. It just isn't happening. Like an Armory deck for Classic Constructed, you can win. You know, you can win a couple games at your Armory, but you're not going to go win Worlds with an Armory deck. You know what I mean? So I think no matter what version of a deck they print as far as like a starter deck option, it is meant for simply that. Its purpose is to teach you how to play the game with these heroes against one another, and that it's this whole thing. Can you play it in a Blitz event or a Clash event? Can you downgrade some of the rares in there to be common and play it in a Commoner event? Sure. But, you know, at that point, you're just building a constructed deck of other things. So
awesome. Well, any final comments, words, things, wisdoms?
Honestly, again, if you're ever looking for Commoner or Clash or any kind of budget stuff, like, don't be afraid to start there. Classic Constructed is the most popular format in Flesh and Blood, but if you are just looking to try out the game and you're not looking to drop hundreds of dollars into a brand new TCG, or even if you're brand new to TCGs in general and you don't know what to do and you have a group of friends that's interested in learning it, pick up some Commoner decks. They're better fleshed out than the Blitz decks, personally, in my regard. You can also find lists for Clash decks online. Clash being an unofficial format, you're probably not going to find too many LGSs actually playing Clash. But again, if you're just kind of trying to learn the game and play around, and there's a whole bunch of webcam communities that are able to play these games with you. Talishar is a great resource to learn also. And that's just kind of it, right? You know, you don't have to start at the big leagues. Obviously, if that's where you want to be, comes with practice and determination, and a ton of skill, and you'll get there eventually. But don't drop everything you have to try and become the next world champion, and not know what you're getting yourself into. So, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I taught somebody that I know how to play Blitz with 2 of the pre-constructed decks within the last week, and I got that filmed. I'm gonna see if I can get it edited. But that was intriguing to just listen, because he's a Magic player, and it's interesting to see his understanding of where it's at, and he caught on pretty quick, so that's good. So.
Good. Glad to hear. It's they do well for teaching, as far as things are concerned. But I think a lot of people think that it's a 1-to-1 ratio where, Magic, you're able to bring you play Commander Precon at a Commander night, at a casual Commander night, and nobody bats an eye, and sometimes you win. But it's different Flesh and Blood. They're not competitive decks at starter deck level. They are just ways for you to learn the game or to be able to get into a format, and then it is up to you to learn that deck, learn that hero, learn the class, upgrade it efficiently. And if that's the class you want to stick with, great. You didn't spend a lot of money to get into it, so you can go ahead and start spending money into the class to learn it a lot more. Or if it's not the class for you and you don't like the RNG of it as far as like Brute goes or anything like that, you can always go ahead and just get a different product or start a different deck for super cheap, and you can begin there.
Excellent. Well, again, I thank you, sir, and for everybody watching, go subscribe to Alex's channel, Ashen Wings TCG, I believe is the official title, and also, if you don't mind, give me a like, share, and subscribe as well, and together we'll, have the rising tide rises all ships, so hopefully we'll, as a group, all rise up, and thanks for wrapping out episode number 2. This is great. Maybe this is the feeling that Logan and them have at the end of every episode. They're like, fuck yeah, I'm done. I did it. Like, I can go drink now. Like, yes.
Right? So. You got the business out of the way. So, but it's been a pleasure. I look forward to more of them because, it's always great talking Flesh and Blood with the community. And so, I'm not going to stop doing it on my channel. And now I get to do it on other people's channel too. So it's great.
All right. Well, cheers.